Hello YouTube, Big Apple here. I know it's been a while. I've been doing some things, been busy, but now I've got some time. So I'm going to update y'all on my M&P9c. It's the M&P9 compact update. For an original review of this, refer to my comparison video where I compare my Ruger SR9C to this one. I haven't done a full-blown review because I feel like I went into a lot of details in that video of the specific things that you'll find out with this one compared to the full size. If you want a general idea of the M&P platform itself, I would say go watch my video on the full size or go and watch my video review on the M&P core. I will annotate all of those. Still highly recommend this pistol. It's great for teaching new shooters, especially with the Apex trigger. I fired about 1,000 through it with 100% reliability, and besides any jacketed hollow points, most of those, probably 80 to 90% of those have been my own hand loads. It runs like a top. I have no issues with it at all. It's super reliable, really good for teaching new shooters, especially with that trigger. Y'all have seen that before, and I will refer to that again later in this video. So the use for this pistol, as stated previously, it's mostly for concealed carry. It does have the ability to use a full-size mag. If you want to run it like a full size, you could run the 17-round magazine and get you one of those little X adapters, kind of like the little adapter that the Ruger has. And it's also good for like defensive courses. I'll probably take tactical response fighting pistol course in the future, which is probably a little more practical than the fighting rifle course, since I carry this more often than I can carry a freaking carbine. So I'll probably use this in a few classes, and maybe I'll have an update number 2 later. The things that I've added and changed. I have the Trijicon HD night sights. I really like these sights. You got a large rear aperture, a really visible, highly visible front sight, which is good for both eyes open shooting. They're taller than factory sights, which I like, and they are tritium in the front and the rear. So these sights right here, you can see the front one, you can get either a yellow outlined night sight or an orange one. If you put this under a light, the yellow part will actually glow, but there is actually a tritium vial in the middle there that is a night sight. The rear is flat black, and it's actually got some serrations on it. You can see those. I guess that's to prevent glare, because the sides are, I don't know, kind of bright, I guess, and reflect light, and this doesn't really. But it looks really good, and I like that aperture. I like how big it is. It does have a real good shelf on the back too if you have to rack off a belt or something, so that's another plus. The original sights did have that shelf too, but they don't have nearly as good of a sight picture as this one does. So when you hold it out like you're going to shoot it, of course you can't see it as well here, but that front dot really fills in that rear aperture perfectly. It is so easy to line these sights up, and I've been experimenting more with shooting both eyes open. It's taken me a long time to get there, to actually get the whole feel of it down, and the fact that it's kind of fuzzy, but I've been able to you figure that out really well. And with these sights, both eyes open shooting is very easy. I also like that these sights are taller. You can see that rear is above the slide pretty good. So that was one thing I didn't like about the factory M&P sights. I didn't want night sights on this, so I did replace those, and I could have replaced them with any, but I really like these because they were taller. The factory M&P sights were a little close to the slide, and I like my sights to be taller. If you've seen my installation video, this has the polymer forward set sear and trigger kit. You can refer to that video if you're installing it or see how much work it takes. It has a really light trigger with an improved reset. It's also reduced the travel. That is what the forward set sear part is. You could get an Apex kit with just internal pieces and use the factory trigger, but I like how short the travel is here. I'll show you again if y'all haven't seen it. Very, very short travel. Reset, also very short. As you can see, the reset still isn't great. It is definitely improved over the factory trigger. It's still not as good as probably that Ruger trigger, or a Glock trigger probably has a little bit better reset. So it does have its downsides, but I mean overall, this trigger is really awesome. Anyone that shoots it really likes it. So minus the slightly light, not as tactile reset, it's a fantastic trigger, and I recommend that to any M&P buyer. It's also the same as the one in my core or the one in that M&P40 that I reviewed. It's just polymer and not aluminum. It removes the hinged feeling of the factory trigger, because the factory trigger is hinged in the middle. This is all one piece. I've also added a new back plate. You probably saw the little USA thing. It's purely for looks, but this piece is aluminum as opposed to the original one being polymer. So you probably saw this little USA logo. I have an American flag one on my core. When I do a core update video, you'll see that. But I don't know, just kind of a cool look, kind of customize it. I also painted these letters, like by painting your guns video, I made these olive green as opposed to yellow like on my core, and I think that's kind of cool. You can see it on the barrel too, but it's just making this gun my gun and not a general M&P9c, the fact that this is my M&P9c. You can get those back plates from magplates.com. They have them for the Shield, they have them for the XDs, the XDS, and for Glocks. So if you want to customize your gun, give it a cool look, visit magplates.com. I still recommend you purchase one without a thumb safety or mag safety. I think a bare bones gun is much better for carry because it teaches you discipline and it makes the point and shoot much simpler. And what I mean by that is, if you're carrying this concealed in this holster and for whatever reason you have to break leather and draw it, you don't have to worry about flipping a safety. You don't have to worry about if the mag slightly popped out or something. That first round is definitely going to go off. And you should carry with one in the chamber anyway. You've seen that in my previous videos. I think carrying one without one in the chamber is idiotic, so you should carry with one in the chamber. But a bare bones gun like this, very basic gun, is really, really easy to work with without all the extra stuff hanging on it. Because when you do draw out of that holster, if you have a safety, you forget to actuate it, then it's an extra step. You just have to train that way, and you have to, it incorporates a lot more motions before the gun is actually ready to fire as opposed to it being ready to go anyway. So I think a bare bones gun is good, and it teaches you discipline because rather than rely on a mechanical safety and have bad, gun safety etiquette, and not, keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to shoot. Not having a safety kind of keeps you in check and, makes you religious about that. This pistol's great for lefties. It does have a flippable mag release and an ambi slide release. So you see the mag release right there, you can put on the other side, and then the slide release is ambi. So it would be good for lefties. It has a very, very soft recoil impulse. This may be because of the low bore axis. If you want to see that impulse, refer to the opening sequence in my comparison video comparing this to the Ruger. I'll have more footage of this later after I do some defensive courses and some more shooting on some steel. I just haven't been able to get any footage lately. This does have my favorite serrations. I'm sure you've seen my 1911 review video, my other M&P videos. I think these fish scale serrations are the most usable of any pistol. They're not harsh on your hands. They give you really, really good traction. I would like if it had forward serrations. The M&P9c and the M&P9 full size both have forward and rear serrations. So I think that one, is a little bit better. I don't know why they don't do that on the 9C and the 40C also, but it is what it is. I think this pistol is also very, very easy to rack. Where am I? There it is. I think my pistol's very easy to rack, and I think this is attributable to the single-piece guide rod. So the SR9C has that two-piece guide rod. This one has the single-piece guide rod, if you've seen it in my other videos. So it's not overly heavy. Yeah, sure, it's a little harder to rack than a full size when any smaller gun with a shorter action is going to be that way. But it's still a very, very smooth action, very, very easy to rack. The grip is very comfortable, has the grip angle of a 1911, which I'm very used to. That's why I don't shoot Glocks, because that grip angle messes with me. The grip on the full-size M&P is still more comfortable, as with any full-size gun, because the grip fills your entire hand rather than just the top of it. But I find that with the pinky extension on the mag, it is really comfortable, and I carry it with this magazine. That's this one. So you see it's got the little pinky part, pop it in. Gives you a full grip. It doesn't completely fill your palm like the full size does, but it does allow you to keep this pinky here, and I do carry it with this magazine. So that is how I carry it. Other things about carrying, I find it just as comfortable as the SR9C. They're both about the same size. I carry it in a custom leather double clip inside the waistband holster. This was made by a friend of mine. You see the molded kydex, the leather. I prefer leather holsters since they're sitting inside my waist and rubbing against me. Of course, this has kydex too, but this part isn't touching my body. The only part that touches my body is the leather part. And what do I carry in it? I carry Hornady Critical Defense 115 grain jacketed hollow points. You can refer to my defensive cartridges video as to what I use in every gun and my reasoning for it. Overall, very great gun for carry, great gun for the range. It's a lot of fun, very soft shooting, easy to point, easy to shoot. Of course, the Apex did make it a lot more usable. It's easier to shoot with the newer sights too, but you know, that's just me making this gun my gun. If you bought a bare bones M&P9c with the less than stellar factory trigger and the factory sights, you probably wouldn't have any problems. I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to handguns, so that's just how I do it. I like to make them my own and customize them as I see fit. So if you have any more questions on the 9C, be sure to post in the comments, and y'all take care.